All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and me. So, sad news in the world of music. This is one of my favorite albums from the 90s. I became kind of a fake country guy. I didn't wear the cowboy hat, but Toby Keith, this is his first album, and there are certain songs by Toby Keith that just break me up. They're just um should have been a cowboy. Who's that man? I mean, I mean, Nashville is filled with great songwriters, but you have to be a great interpreter of those songs. And Toby Keith, again, I'm a fan. I've got more than just one Toby Keith album. Toby Keith passed away at the age of 62 after a battle with stomach cancer. Um, I read one report where it said he passed away in his sleep, but several other reports just say that he passed away and his family was with him. So they must have known something was going on with Toby. Of course, he first revealed this stomach cancer diagnosis in June of 2022. All right. So this happened recently and it happened quickly. And, it's tough for me to draw parallels with what's happening with cancer around the world and cancer being very aggressive. It seemed that Toby was doing better. He did not look like himself when he performed recently. He had lost a lot of weight. But he had been telling folks some different things. Um, and one of them was that things were getting a little bit better. He spoke to Audacity's Katie Neal in December of 2023. He said that he felt he had turned a corner in his stomach cancer battle. He says, I'm doing really good. It's been a tough 2 years, but I think I'm turning a corner, he shared. I don't know if you're ever done with it, meaning the cancer, but he says, I'm trying to be. Keith made his return to the stage at the People's Choice Country Awards in September. Not only did he steal the show with his tear jerking performance, he was also honored with the night's Country Icon Award. The country star released his self titled debut album, here it is, in 1993, and recently celebrated the 30th anniversary of Should Have Been a Cowboy. That was actually the most played song on country radio in the 1990s, and deservedly so. He notched 20 number one hits across his career and was awarded the National Medal of Arts in 2021. Toby Keith was somewhat political, but he was a good soldier. He would perform for any president. He performed for George W. Bush, for Barack Obama, and I believe for Donald Trump as well. So he loved this country. He was quite angry after what happened 9/11. After that happened, he went out there and basically recorded this very controversial song, or at least some people thought it was a controversial song, called Brought to You by the Red, White, and Blue. All right. And it was a patriotic song. And country music used to be kind of a patriotic, all American genre. But the last decade or so, that has really changed. It's really changed. And Toby Keith was definitely a throwback to a better time. Someone who loved the country and loved doing what he did. Started off as kind of a crooner, has this amazing deep baritone voice, started out kind of like a crooner, was recruited by Harold Shedd, the guy who was instrumental in making Alabama a household word other than, just the state itself, but the band. And the record label, I think early on, was trying to mold him into more of an adult contemporary country sounding singer, and the production value was very soft, very nice. I mean, if you go back and listen to any of his stuff, you'll notice that as his career goes on, he becomes more of an outlaw because that's really what he wanted to be. Working with Willie Nelson, "Beer for My Horses," just such a good song. Brings back just really good memories to listen to Toby Keith. Part of my conversion in the '90s to country um, was Garth Brooks, Toby Keith, John Michael Montgomery. There are just a whole bunch of great singers, female artists. I mean, any female country singer during the '90s is a better singer than most anybody on the scene today. Whether it's Reba McEntire, Pam Tillis, there are just so many great voices from that era. And Toby Keith was right in the mix and became a country legend and a superstar. And he seemed to be a genuinely decent guy. So, getting back to 62 years old, dying of cancer, what else can you say? There's not much else to really add to this, except I would just look at the timing of his diagnosis and what happened during that time frame. And I can pretty much guarantee you that Toby Keith, like being a good soldier for promoting, American strength and talking about how the military is coming to get you, kind of a thing, for what you've done to us. I'm pretty sure when this whole thing in 2021 happened and was in the news, I'm betting that Toby Keith was a good soldier in that regard and did his patriotic duty, because we were told that that was patriotic in 2021 by that president. The one prior didn't tell you it was patriotic, but he told you it was safe and effective. And it's like the greatest thing that has ever happened. Now, again, I have no link between the two things. I have no proof. But it just, again, what causes all of these things to happen? Does anybody, it's kind of like everybody wants to treat the symptoms, but they're not concerned about why. Why did this happen? Did he live a lifestyle? Did he have a genetic predisposition? I mean, they have AI that can do anything today. So I'm wondering why they haven't put AI to work to figure out why this happens and how to correct it and how to reverse it. It's just weird. I mean, medically speaking, we're not on pace at all with the kind of technology that we're seeing with, self-driving cars and AI that can, outlast any human being when it comes to a task or a project, whether it's a physical thing that you have to do or if it's just figuring something out. The AI seems to be getting more and more impressive by the day. And there seems to be a disconnect between the medical world and what they're doing. They could be doing to people. They're not doing things for people. They're doing things to people. And that is stressing. And again, this may have nothing to do with what happened to Toby Keith. Stomach cancer, that's got to be a tough area to deal with, getting chemo. And, the older you are, the more difficult it must get for that type of treatment. So, again, my thoughts and my prayers go out to Toby Keith, his family, and just all of his fans around the world, because this was one cool cat. This is one great singer. This was a guy who had like an Elvis kind of presence a little bit. He was a bigger than life character, and he exuded that both on stage and off stage. And they don't make, singers and performers like Toby Keith all that often anymore. So we were blessed to have him. And again, instrumental in my country music conversion in the 1990s when all the music on the radio started to really suck over on rock stations and the storytelling. I mean, who's that man? I mean, and stuff like that. And Don't Take the Girl. I had never heard songs that would pull you in like that. Whereas on the rock radio dial, there were songs that you couldn't even understand the lyrics. So to me, this was like an oasis and a refuge from what was happening to rock music. So God bless Toby Keith. God bless America. And anyway, I'll talk to you soon.